From Carolla One Studios in Glendale, California, and streaming on YouTube, this is The Adam Carolla Show. Adam's guest today, founders of The Hard Times, Matt Saincombe and Bill Conway. With Gina Grad on news and an Eat Your Feelings recipe, Bald Brian on sound effects, and Vinnie Tortorich stops by, and now, thrilled and relieved that Elizabeth Warren is going to cancel his debt from that semester at Valley College. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. No choice but to get on. Thanks for tuning in, I should say, and thanks for telling a friend. We love that about you. I want to thank BlueChew.com, Enter Adam, and MedMen.com, and also Castrol Challenge. You can tweet us your questions. Good day, Gina Grad.
Good day to you.
And Bald Brian.
I'm here. I'm queer. Oh, geez.
Get used to
The
it.
great Vinnie Tortorich in studio.
Hello.
Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you.
So many sweet tweets about what Vinnie has done for people over the course of the last year or so.
Yeah.
All the inches and weight
Some
down.
dramatic photographs.
Dramatic. There was a little, I don't know. I think I saw one today that said, like, eat breakfast every day, lowers the chance of heart attack or something like that.
Yeah.
And there were some other little bits of
He's already pissed.
controversy floating around. I don't know if you were able to see that article, if you have thoughts on it.
I saw the headline, and it said that, not eating breakfast could cause an increase in heart disease. Now, the fact that they put the word cause in the title allows me to go right in and say causation does not equal correlation.
Mm-hmm.
Correlation and causation, two different things, but the general public will look at that and go, oh, if you don't eat breakfast, you're going to have a heart attack. I mean, just like the Quaker Oats people years ago, back in the 1940s, started yelling, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And they yelled it so much that we now go, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. We just
Right.
repeat. If you say something long enough, everyone just starts to repeat it. And that's what they're doing. They just keep putting out bullshit day in and day out. One day has bacon, one day has eggs, the next day. Anything to do with doing the right thing, they're going to attack it.
Well, it strikes me that when you hear things like, we got to eat a whole bunch of small meals all throughout the day, you think, is it possible that that's how humans are structured, that human beings, like what torture would have been on humans several hundred years ago to go, you eat all day, every day. Like, really? That seems almost impossible for everyone on the planet. Just a few
Every animal, not just every human.
It's a very good point. No trail mix for all the little critters who live on trails, ironically.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it would be torture if you were a bear or you're an indigenous person to say, if you're an Eskimo, to go, you got to eat a little bit of whale blubber all day, every day. Like, you got to snack all day,
Graze
every
on
day.
blubber.
Graze.
Right. That doesn't make sense to anybody alive before us. And then the other thing is it's not, I don't know, maybe it doesn't come from a lab, but if anyone has tried kind of doing it Vinnie's way, having that coffee with the pat of butter in it or MCT oil in the morning, and kind of fasting or doing the intermittent sort of fast where you just kind of see if you make it through the first half of the day with just a little of the butter and caffeine in your system, you'll almost immediately feel better.
Yeah.
You really won't. The physiology of it is your energy will be better. You won't be going, oh, I got to take a nap. Like you will not have all the things you formerly had when you'd have the big lunch or the breakfast with the potatoes and the biscuits and the carbs and the cereal. Like all those former sort of I don't like to be one of these people that goes, oh, I have the red meat, then I get the high, then I get the sugar crash, and I come up with the chocolate again, and then I go back down again. Like, I don't like that, but I will tell you, if you would like to remain sort of flat, if you would like your graph to be flat, and I don't mean that in a negative way, I just mean no spikes, no bottoming out, have that cup of coffee with the MCT oil or the pat of butter or the whole cream, whatever it is, and you will just go flat on through your day. You won't have that, I gotta take a nap at like 1, or you won't have that
Pushing it.
that dragging or those surges or those sort of peaks and valleys. You just go straight on through your day. It's palpable. Like, you will notice it. Once you get past the sort of ritual part of, I got to get up, I got to have breakfast, that's how I treat myself in the morning. Like, you get past the ritual eating part, and then just the feeling, how you physically feel, you'll feel much more consistent.
And that's exactly how the whole 6 meals a day thing got started, because once, all of these diet companies like Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig, once they all went to CICO, which means calorie in, calorie out, people started going, wait a minute, I'm hungry all the time. I have highs and lows. I can't keep up with this. So they sat around and go, okay, what can we do about this? Okay, let's move, instead of 3 meals a day, let's have 6 small meals a day, because now you can still do CICO, calorie in, calorie out, and we can just keep that sugar buzz going all day long. Whenever you think you're going to fall, have another small meal. That's where the 6 meals came from.
Right.
And by the way, that's where the drink a gallon of water came from, because it's the same thing. It's like, well, you're hungry. Water has no calories. Just drink water, and it's going to somehow magically flush fat from your liver. I'm still not sure how that works, but
same thing. When you think about it, I mean, you just think about your childhood. You just think about hopping on that Huffy bicycle out here in the San Fernando Valley in the dog days of summer. I mean, July, August, September, getting on that bike and just pedaling it. All like side streets all the way to the reservoir in Sepulveda Basin over there, and then romping around in the swamp for 4 or 5 hours, and then just riding. Nary a canteen, no bottles of water, maybe a suck off the hose at
Water
some
was an
point.
afterthought.
It wasn't even a thought. Like, you're gone all day. There was never any hydration issues.
Right.
There was never anything. I don't. Everything was your childhood. If you're over 35 years old, your childhood will tell you everything you need to know. We would leave the house, no snacks, no granola bars.
Shunned by kids in school. I'm catching on.
No money and no hydration, and just be gone the entire day.
The only granola bar, it was like Nature Valley. When I was a kid, that was the only one available. There was no Power Bar. There was no Cliff Bars. There was none of this stuff. And I could tell you as a fact, my mom never bought the Nature Valley granola bars. I saw other kids with them. We never had them. And we were outside all day, every day. And when we left the house, you had a football, a bat, a baseball glove, and a basketball. You had everything, because you didn't know what the neighborhood kids were going to buy into that day.
Vinny, to that point, I don't know if this is still if kids these days do this, but remember going to the park and there'll be people there that, there'll be other kids there to play with, the neighborhood kids or just the kids I see sometimes. Do people just show up to the park and play?
I had never heard of the phrase play date until I became an adult.
Yeah, now it's all around.
Same here.
Show up.
California. I thought the kid. I was dating this kid, the mom, and the kid had a play date. It was a little boy, and I went, oh, he's gay? Yeah, what does that mean, play date? I didn't know what it meant. I thought it was a gay thing.
Now, he was gay, everyone. Just get this straight.
It turns out the kid was straight, but I had never heard play date.
Yeah.
The saddest part about that whole the tableau you guys paint so vividly or illustrate was the worst part for a young ace man is at about 6 o'clock, the games would start breaking up, and I would always want the party to continue because we had another 2 hours of daylight.
Exactly.
And I gotta go home. My mom's making dinner, and everyone's like, "Oh, what time is it?" It's like, "Oh, it's 5:45." "Oh, mine's dinner." And everyone would be like, "What's for dinner? Where are you going? What are you eating?"
Sun's up, pantry's closed.
That's right.
Come on.
All right. So Maxipaz. So Vinny, we're going to talk about. I was having a discussion with Dr. Drew. I talked about it on the air a little bit, I think. And you have thoughts about this, and I'd like your thoughts about this, which is many forms of exercise to me feel like drudgery. Sure. And when something feels like drudgery, I don't. If podcasting felt like drudgery, I wouldn't do it. If going out and doing, or I do as little of it as humanly possible. If doing stand-up felt like drudgery, I do as little of it as humanly possible. I realized that when I got on to the elliptical machine. My new house has an elliptical machine. I'd ride that thing for like 4 minutes and be like, oh my God, what time is it? How long has it been? Jesus Christ, I'm going out of my mind. And I could hold out about 10 minutes, but after that, it was a sort of a combination of this feels weird, and I'm mentally, it wasn't like physically, it wasn't like, oh, my quads are killing me. It was more of a like, I am bored out of my mind.
Now what?
And somebody said to me, oh, you got to get a rowing machine. Actually,
Right.
Matt DeAndrea, not that Matt Fondelier's bad,
The
Matt.
implication when you,
Just
say,
Matt.
when you say good, Matt, the implication is all the Matts
I
are
shouldn't say that, but anyway,
not
good Matt.
Okay.
Part of why he's dubbed Good Matt is he said, get a rowing machine. And I said, oh, that already it sounded tantalizing to me. And then I realized my entire sort of physical makeup has always been about back and legs and like swinging a baseball bat and throwing a left cross hard. It's all about sort of torsion and twisting and getting my whole body into it. And that's what I loved about boxing. And as soon as I got this rowing machine, I'd go at it for a half hour at a good pace. And, you know, I was ready to get off it after half an hour. But that half hour was very doable.
Yeah.
And it was somehow the motion that spoke to my body versus the time or the calories burned or whatever it is. And I started to talk to Drew about it once, and he was like, oh, yeah, once I found heavy weightlifting, like my body just responded. Like
Right.
it said, I want to do this. And so his body type wants to do heavy weightlifting. My body type wants to do rowing or things of that nature. Drew, just based on watching him play a couple celebrity softball games, not that kind of hip torsion, you know, torque
Coordination,
kind of
yeah.
coordination thing. Not him. He likes heavy weights. He likes doing deadlifts. Speak to the science of that, or what we know about it, or how important it is, and how come I feel like it's never discussed? Like I feel like people just go, you do 20 minutes on the treadmill, then you come over here and you do chin-ups, then we put you on the station where you do the sit-ups, and it's like, I get it, but for people whose bodies are kind of fighting
Right,
them
right.
in that department, they're probably not going to last as long as others. What do you know about that?
I got 3 words for you.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy the Greek.
Jimmy the Greek.
That's how he ended up getting in trouble. I've always said that Jimmy the Greek heard something from someone and then said exactly the wrong thing. He probably heard that more black people have more B2 muscle, or not B2 muscle fiber, fast twitch muscle fiber than slow twitch. Therefore, they're better at basketball.
How dare you.
Fast twitch. Boxing, fast twitch. Football, fast twitch. Everything is boom in
Right.
those sports, right? Those are all fast twitch muscles. Well, except for the Kenyans, if you look at every slow twitch, you know, you go look at triathlons, you go look at anything else, slow twitch muscle, it means that you are better at aerobic activity, right? And it's very seldom that you see a crossover in athletes at the top level. Like some people can be good
Wow.
at the mid-level, right? So
Yeah.
that's where, you know,
I have an interesting sort of question for this. The guys, like just studying the UFC,
right.
a lot of the guys that are built like the 2 Kenyan brothers from the Jussie Smollett thing, their endurance doesn't tend to be, and boxers, I see
Right.
it, that endurance doesn't. The Mexican guys are kind of like smoother and rounder, and sometimes the white and black guys, they're just sort of smoother and rounder, seem to have a stamina that lasts longer.
The Mexicans have a stamina that is second to none in the world.
Oh, really?
As a matter of fact, the LA Marathon, top 5 or 10 every year, right behind the Kenyan who wins it, you have a Mexican up there. Not a Mexican, a lot of Mexicans.
Well, hold on. Are they being chased by the police, or are they actually participating in the event?
Yes, but in the police's defense, they're actually on those little 3-wheel things.
I don't think this is isolated.
No, Ernest just
I'm
wants
just
to know.
asking.
No,
I'm
these-
just asking.
these
Wait,
guys-
what's my catchphrase?
That's it.
I'm just asking.
There's a group of Mexicans from Chihuahua in these canyons. I can't remember the name of the
Does it
canyon.
have something to
Take
do
a
with the
guess.
altitude of like Mexico City?
No, it's just something to do with, you know, it's like everything. Kenyans are good
Hold
at...
on. Is it them toting those giant guitars everywhere? I'm just asking. huge, giant canoe-sized guitars
think that's
everywhere.
it.
Don't you think that would build up?
I don't think
The
that's
day
it.
I'm
Vinny
just
became
asking.
a racist on the Adam Carolla show. No, they're and here's the crazy thing: you'll see these Mexicans in a race. They're shorter. They're not like the Kenyans. They're not 7 feet tall with the hips at 6 feet high. And you're looking at these guys going, how are they keeping up? They are just that good.
They get practice running from the tax man.
I'm just asking.
Just asking.
Yeah, you gotta hit the catchphrase.
you're right.
The audience
Running
replies-
back across the
You're right.
border. Come on, we can do a few
You're
more.
right. You're right.
It, they're just good at it. And
Okay, so
there's certain people. And when you say, is it because of? Okay, you mentioned Eskimos earlier, which, by the way, the word Eskimo is now off the table. We must call them Inuits or indigenous Indians of that area. When you look at the Inuit or the Eskimo, we can still see Eskimo pie, though. That's
Those are
where
delicious.
the confusing thing
Eskimo
is.
kisses are still okay. Yeah.
You look at them and you go, okay, why are these people, why can they live? They have extra fat on their body. They have shorter legs, shorter limbs.
Right.
Well, when you live in a cold area, the people who are going to survive in cold areas are going to have shorter limbs because of the circulation. And you're going to have extra fat on your body. And by the way, until we changed their diet, they had 0 heart disease, right? So they're made to live in that environment.
Right. So, meaning
Right.
Dr. Drew, well, I was talking to him about black guys having a big hog. And he said, well, I don't know, but I can tell you in an environment that's very hot, being longer, things being sort of drawn out helps in the cooling department.
I think Drew is now in question. Did Drew actually say that?
He said in hot areas, these guys are taller and longer and leaner, and you cool
You
better.
get a drink of water to that
I
buzz it
don't think
over.
that's what Drew was talking. By the way, I was thinking of the Mexicans, Copper Canyon, and there's the Tajamara people near Chihuahua. Best runners in the world. But when you start looking at all of this stuff and you look at people from different areas, and you take the blacks in America, right? And you look at where they came from. Well, when we started the whole slavery thing, and the kings of Africa decided, hey, we're going to send people to America because they're accepting slaves. They're not going to send their worst people. They're going to send their strongest guys. So first, you're sending the strongest guys over here, right?
Yeah.
And half of those guys die on the boat. So now you've killed half of the strongest guys. Now you really have the strongest guys. And then they're in terrible conditions when they get here. So that's why you have these guys who are superior athletes today. And I know it makes me sound like a racist, but I'm not, and it's not a racist statement
Vinny
to
the
make.
Greek.
Well, look, if you do a thing, like if you just go, I'm going to just float above this like an alien race,
Right.
or alien beings. I'm just going to float above it, and I'm going to go, what sports that this world has to offer that takes superior athleticism? And you'd go, well, NFL, NBA. I guess being a forward in the NBA or being a defensive back in the NFL would be a superior athleticism. And then you'd go bowler, golfing, things like curling. We can kind of learn that technique, practice, archery.
That's a skill you can develop.
Whatever, we can develop that kind of stuff. And then, baseball's kind of somewhere in between. And if you're floating above this planet and just sort of observing, and you observe that 98.7 of the cornerbacks in the NFL were African American, and 86% of the starting forwards in the NBA were African American, then you would conclude, oh, those more athletic positions require more athletic wiring.
Pretty easy math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, the vertical leap, the big dork, and that kind of stuff, these aren't put downs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some
So
stereotypes.
now you get back to what exercise is good for what person, and how would one? I think there's a sort of good and a bad way to discover that, right? Like you run on the elliptical for 10 minutes and you're miserable. You grab the rowing machine and you enjoy it. Is that a pretty simple test?
Yeah, it is. First off, the elliptical, there's nowhere in nature where we actually do that motion except for on the elliptical machine.
Right.
It's like tying two by fours to your feet and trying to walk. It's
Right.
just not a normal thing. It shows that you probably have a fair amount of slow twitch muscle fiber, but you also have a lot of fast twitch muscle fiber. So your body likes the combo of the slow twitch muscle fiber along with the fast twitch, because the rowing machine is not only aerobic, but it can be considered a resistive exercise, not a weight bearing, resistive. So. And by the way, let's look at what you were good at. You played football, right?
Right.
You know, a lot of guys that play your position, linebacker, they have, I played the same position. We have enough speed and agility to get there, yet we have to have the stamina to run down the field and catch someone. The same thing with boxing. You have to be able to go 3 minutes and dance around, and every now and then, you know, have a lot of fast twitch muscle to knock some guy in the face. So you're a combination athlete. That's where you are. That's probably why you like the roar. So let me ask you about the roar. Do you go all out the entire time, or do you find yourself taking a middle ground?
I find myself, and it's kind of hard because I don't know it very well, I set this pace of about 650 to 700 sort of RPMs, whatever that is. I set this sort of resistance thing about 7, sort of middle, little higher than middle. And I just kind of go at it at a pretty good pace for about that time. And then the last minute, I try to kick it up to like 11, 12, 1300 RPM, like just sort of go out.
So you're watching the
strong.
RPMs because there's so many. You have the concept too?
I guess. I don't know. Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
All right. So, yeah, there's different things you can measure in that. So you're doing the RPMs. And by the way, because of the way that machine works, you could put it on 1. And it's the same as putting it on 10, because when you put it on 1, even though it cuts the air down, which allows it to spool up even faster, once it starts catching enough wind, it doesn't matter. It catches up with you, so it's a linear thing.
It's good for a couple things. It creates a nice big wind sort of
Gust.
turbine.
Right.
It's good when people are calling your name in the house because you never hear them. You don't hear their muddled cries. Number one. Number two,
The dog's got me out.
Sonny was on the elliptical next to me, and on the compression stroke, I let a big fart go and then pulled back. And it took a couple beats to be weaponized. You know, it had to be sucked into the thing and then spit out big air, and it just
Directed.
it just hit him right in the face and knocked
geez.
him out of the room.
Good luck selling that used.
It was awesome. He blew right on out of there. So what would you recommend for people to kind of find what they did? What exercise worked best for them?
You have to play around with it. You know, people always, you know, say, well, what does fit actually mean? Well, if you're telling me you want to win a weightlifting competition, I'm not going to have you run. Yet, if you tell me you want to run a marathon, we're not going to spend a lot of time doing squats, right? So you need to be fit for the activity. And whenever, look, I trained people for 36 years, and you can't make people do things they don't want to do, right? That's just a fact. You have to find what they like and then do a lot of that. You know,
Yes.
so
Well, the cliche here is like, what's the best workout? The best workout is the one you'll do.
Right.
Exactly. And you like doing the rowing machine. You mentioned on a different podcast when I was in here that you liked jumping rope. Do not give up jumping your rope, because that is weight-bearing exercise, and it's very, very important that you do weight-bearing exercise.
I like that, and I like any balance-related stuff. I love that tube with the board on it and go back and
You
forth.
start
Rock.
standing on that rowing machine. Stand on that seat. Come on, man.
I don't think that's what it's made
We got a
for.
quick question from Mark from Little Rock 33. Mark.
This is Mark. Hi, Guy.
Hi, Guy.
So I don't have a question for Vinny, but I just wanted to call and make him angry.
Go ahead.
Oh, Jesus.
So I live in Arkansas, and just recently the Arkansas House of Representatives sent forward to the governor a bill which he signed, a bill that outlawed the sale of packaged goods in grocery stores that had the word rice on the packaging that wasn't actually rice. So, for example, like a riced cauliflower or riced broccoli.
They're getting
And
the verb
the-
and the noun confused.
Right.
Exactly. So the story was, the rice lobby, I believe is what happened. The rice lobby would have us believe that and they said that customers or consumers were calling them saying that they were confused about this new rice they're growing in the fields made of cauliflower. How are you doing it? And, of course, the real problem is probably not as much rice as being sold as used to be with the
right.
New, more health-conscious people. But
you know what's more misleading, Mark, Vinny, and everyone else? The ones marked veggie chips or veggie crackers
Veggie
or veggie
puffs.
whatever, and
Yep.
it's like you look at it and you go, "Oh, is this a veggie-based potato chip?" And no, it is not.
Far from it.
Not at all.
And they're counting the potato as the veggie.
And you can always tell by just biting into one chip and going, "This is good,"
Yeah.
and that's how you know.
It's got some beet powdering
Right,
for color.
right.
The one that, and look, I'm okay with it. I'm not actually angry with this because you got to take the good with the bad. The one that drives me nuts is the fake meat people, like what's it called, like
Beyond
almost
and
meat
Impossible,
or Impossible
yeah.
burgers yeah, because look, if you want to be vegan, that's up to you. If you want to have an eating disorder, that's fine. But you're giving up meat. Why do you have to have something that looks like meat, tastes like meat, and when you cut it bleeds like meat?
Yeah.
Is it the whole exercise that you're above all that and you can live on veggies or whatever? So I'm actually okay with taking, if you want to take that off and just call it cauliflower nuggets or whatever else,
Collie dots.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark,
yes.
a lot of this going on in Little Rock. Has it made its way over to Little Rock?
Well, yes. We shop at Whole Foods, of course, and have been getting riced cauliflower. And in anticipation of the riced cauliflower disappearing, have just started to get the frozen cauliflower and ricing it ourselves. So, we're buckled down, ready for the impending doom of no longer having any riced cauliflower on the shelf.
Tell me,
in the fat and stupid state of Arkansas.
Tell me you or your wife's best no sugar, no grain dish.
Boy, let's see. There's a lot. Everything I make is no sugar or no grain.
How big an impact has it made on you and your wife?
Well, my wife has a lot of autoimmune issues with eating kind of inflammatory things such as any kind of grain or sugar. So made a big impact. I wouldn't know how to cook a normal dish with something like rice. With something like a regular flour. It just doesn't happen. So probably the best thing I've made recently has been a chocolate brownie, and the base of it is about $15 worth of almond butter. It's remarkable, and I don't particularly have my own recipes. I'm good at following all the bloggers out there like Gina that make it easy for people like us that want to eat and cook that way.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, we got one more here. We got Mike, 28, Arizona. Mike.
Ace man, Paul,
Yeah.
Gina, Vinny.
Yeah, man.
Hi.
Long-time caller, first-time listener.
Thank you. What's going on?
I just had a baby, and it's kind of hindered me from going to the gym, but I'm still trying to do workouts every day. Vinny, what are the best things I can do, just body weight at home real quick in between crying and feeding sessions?
Push-ups, pull-ups, and lunges. I call it the prison cell workout. You can actually stay in damn good shape by doing those three movements because you're doing a compound movement on your legs, you're doing a compound pull movement, and a compound push movement, and you need absolutely nothing except feet and a floor.
So push-ups, pull-up, drying a rape, just
Pruno.
Wait, what?
That's what I got.
the prison workout.
I'm writing this down. Slow
Yeah,
down.
write it
You
down.
said rape.
That's
Write
a
it
drying.
down. Yeah, I
to be
live.
fair.
We just bought a house, live kind of on a hill. So I take the baby in his little stroller and kind of do like Sisyphus, push him up the hill, walk him back down. Every
It is a weird.
It's a deep pull right there.
I've realized a weird thing, which just means like you're getting old when you start trying to count things as exercise.
Yes.
Like you go, I went down to the car and I got those 2 bottles of water and I came back up the stairs and I put them in the kitchen and then I forgot there was another bottle of water in the car, so I went back down the stairs again. And I got him out. I lifted the trunk,
I'm done for the day.
and then I got him out of the back, and then I went back up.
And
You know who?
not to be a one-upper, you see me standing the show, I tell my physical therapist this is exercise.
Yeah.
Like I'm standing the whole
I had
show,
to move
man.
the hose from the back of the house. Like
You know
you
what
start
started-
counting stuff that never formally counted
You know
as
why?
anything. Why
the
is that?
Fitbit. Because
Oh,
now
is
remember,
that what it is?
don't you think every single step is an exercise? Every single step is output. Let's count them, count them, count them. Doesn't matter if you're sweeping or if you're walking to get
I
water.
beat off standing up
There you
the other
go.
day.
Yeah,
That's
doubling down.
weight-bearing exercise, right? But listen, that's what drives. People will say, "Well, I play golf. That counts, right?" And I'll go, "Oh, so you're walking the course, right?" And they go, "No, I'll take the cart." It's like, so it's not. Look, if you could do a sport equally as well while drinking a beer, it's not really exercise.
But it's a Michelob Ultra. Garagos is going to call in a
yes.
couple and give us a little update on, speaking of guys who look good with their shirts off, the Nigerian brothers are suing Garagos for things I guess he initially said on our podcast.
Nice.
Yeah,
So-
Reasonable Doubt was all over TMZ today.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even see
Yeah,
that.
get a little ratings boost. It's going to be weird when you're watching TMZ and they're talking about Reasonable Doubt.
Boy, it's hard to tell if people hate Mark Garagos more or Tucker Carlson more. But I'll tell you,
That's a battle of the
you
titans.
sidle up to those two guys, you'll get a lot of shit on Twitter.
Your persona non grata.
Yeah,
Do you want to
Jimmy-
hear what the claim is before we talk to Mark?
Yeah.
It claims he repeatedly indicated that plaintiffs conspired to criminally attack Mr. Smollett, and by doing so, implied plaintiffs committed perjury to the grand jury and conspired to make false statements to the Chicago PD. So that's what they're saying that Mark was saying about them.
Let's get them on the show.
Yeah.
Was that
This
it?
is from
Wait,
TMZ.
Let's
say
get
that-
them in studio.
Read that again. Let me hear that again. Sorry.
The suits. This is the Tina one. Here's the Garagos one. As for Garagos, the suit claims he repeatedly indicated that plaintiffs conspired to criminally attack Mr. Smollett, and by doing so, implied plaintiffs committed perjury to the grand jury and conspired to make false statements to the Chicago PD.
Well, that's not the version I heard. The version I heard, Max Patton,
because the other
you're
one's
confused?
against Tina Glandian.
Oh, now, he basically implied the brothers were gay. And that's what seemed to be the basis for the lawsuit.
Yeah, he did that kind of here. But then Tina Glandian on the Today Show also implied that. So I think they're attributing one to each.
Yeah, they're both they're getting sued together as like the Garagos and Garagos.
No, but what about no, I'm not asking that. I'm asking the gay part.
I never said that.
No, I'm asking the gay part. But I read a tweet that said he's being sued because he implied that the brothers were gay.
Well, I don't know if that all fell under the defamation or not, but
Oh.
Because there's other ones here too. It says Tina told a string of lies. That's what they're alleging, including that the brothers
Hold on.
were.
Now you got to look for my tweet. Somebody just tweeted me today. Said he's being sued because he implied that they were gay, which he did on Reasonable Doubt, and then he did here again,
on
which
our
I
thing.
thought was sort of, at the time, pardon the pun, queer. I thought Ernest T. Biggs just. I'm just asking.
His radar's up. Yeah.
yeah, the tweet said defamation, but we're reading the article right now. We'll see because this one was a different news source.
What did someone tweet me? Where am I getting the gay part? Or I'm always taking crazy pills. But brothers accused of attacking Justice Smollett sues attorneys for defamation. And then under it, it says what?
It's the same thing. Brothers, defamation, nothing about gay, anything.
Oh.
Someone could have tweeted you and speculated.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
it could've been.
somebody speculated. And I assume that defamation was him calling him gay.
Yeah,
but-
I assume that too.
Okay, well we'll
Talk
look
to Mark.
we'll look into that. All right. Anyway, let's see. So we also have our parking attendant picture went viral. So says Max Apato.
Yeah,
we
it made the front page of Reddit, which is pretty huge.
we didn't get credit for it.
No, they didn't give us
course
any
not.
credit.
I don't know why they don't do that, but either way, I stand by. It says, "Do not pay this individual." It's a fella with fast twitch muscle. That's all I'll say about him from a descriptive standpoint. And
More of a safety than a DB to me, than a quarterback to me, but you make the decision.
yeah. And he is collecting money from people at a parking space where you pay a kiosk and go do it electronically. So that's his fast twitch grift he's got going on.
Yeah,
I
it's
mentioned
the biggest sign in the parking lot.
I stand by the comment that his mom is much prouder of him than my mom is of me with my slow twitch
Solid.
muscle
No one doubts
and
that.
sold out shows at Cobb's.
You have a combination.
Oh, combination. That's right. All right, Max Patton, let me hit MedMen. Why don't you pull up, speaking of that, Adam Carolla's Unprepared. We Finally, thanks to Max Pata's expertise and my haranguing, we actually put the audio recorder on stage and another one out in the audience.
Yeah. Yeah, I planted them throughout the club.
So we put them in the club Saturday night at Cobb's, and we got a nice, much cleaner recording. I'll tell you about MedMen first. 2019 has arrived. Oh, yeah. We're well into it. I've got to fix this copy. We're well into 2019, people. History's already been made. The new normal is here. Have you seen it? Finally, the moment when a product that once drove good people to the black market has now been revealed to be one that's creating a global market. What's an inspiring symbol of counterculture is at long last just culture. The new normal has arrived. And you can check out this video. I'll call it a movie. I'll call it a film.
Short film.
A short film brought to life. And a short film just runs about 120 seconds long. The new normal seeks to leave behind 80 years of unjust prohibition in favor of a safer, happier world. Spike Jonze, the genius, did it. And you can watch the video, and you can check it out at the new normal at medmen.com. That's medmen.com. Really interesting video at medmen.com. All right, we'll play a 2-minute snippet and tell you guys that still tickets available coming up this week. Sacramento, Thunder Valley Casino and Resort and Casino. Hold your ears, Vinny, because we're spending some casino bucks. We're going out for Chinese after the show. Big cheat day. All right, this is one that Max Pata pulled out of last week. All right, you got, you know how to pull the balls there?
I think so.
All right, so this is all stuff you guys wrote. So we're going to, we've not rehearsed this. We shall pull these out.
Big shoe.
Big shoe. Fuck. I don't know what the fuck that is. It's supposed to be one word, bitch. Could have wrote big or shoe. Big shoe. Big shoe. All right. It sounds like a battle where really tall Indians were slaughtered, you know? The Battle of Big Shoe. These guys were hung like black porn stars. Yeah, they were from the Black Chode Nation. Yeah, the Battle of Big Shoe. Remember the thrill of wearing the shoes out of the store? My kids will never know that experience. They put the old shoes, they put them in the brand new box, right? You got that Puma box, it's brand new, and they put the fucking old shitty smelly shoes in there. Now, there should be a wood chipper by the front door, right? You should be able to go, fuck these old shoes, and throw them right in there. But instead you go, oh, thank you. I got a brand new box with the world's shittiest corpse inside of it. Does a big foot means you have a big dick or not? I don't know. I think it's why, yeah? We got a guy with a big foot over here that's got a big dick? Yes? I have a nice dick, but it's not a big dick. It's not gonna hurt you. Like, if you were fishing and you caught my dick, you wouldn't have to throw it back, but you'd think about it. Like the game warden would come by with the template and go, well, you can bring it home, but really? You want to give it a chance out there? Pull up a real cock? There you go. Big foot. Big shoe.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wish it was Bigfoot. Yeah, I try to tell everyone one word. One word.
We told everybody at every show one word, and I'd say about 50% of the words were
And
2 or more words.
Big shoe, like you said, is so weirdly off kilter that it feels like it's like the name of like a tree or a mountain or so, like it's some local reference.
Well, there's also big shoe, like big pharma or big government.
Yeah.
You know, like we make jokes about bigs, put stupid stuff in front of it, big cauli rice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A few different directions.
Come on,
one
people,
could
get
go.
your balls
But
in order.
at least it finally sounded like the audience wanted to be
Yeah,
there.
the audience was digging it.
Well, I realized
Finally
just
woke up.
miking the you just put the mic face the audience so they can hear what I hear, because otherwise it's all traveling through my mic, which is facing my face, and you get about you miss about 80% of whatever that audience was. So kudos to Max Apatos over there. All right, Vinny, did you have something a picture that you wanted to share with us?
Oh yeah, Chris. I gave him. Yesterday I was. You have it right, Chris?
Yep.
Yeah. This is the gym. I live in a nice neighborhood.
Bathroom.
This is the bathroom at
Penitentiary.
24 Hour Fitness over on Topanga.
Yeah.
That new outdoor open air mall. It's right above the REI. I go to that gym from time to time.
Upscale neighborhood.
Yeah,
should be
upscale.
kept
Yeah.
clean.
People aren't hurting in that neighborhood. This is the bathroom, and this is not just that day. This is all the time.
It's a bathroom with toilet paper strewn all over the floor,
I'm
and
not
the
sure
ass gasket
that's not
containers
shit
on the
that
floor.
You can see down on the bottom.
It's a mess. Yes.
But you would think. I look at that and I go, okay, what's going on with society? I get it. Yeah, 24 Hour Fitness should be on top of that, cleaning that. But it makes you wonder how it gets to that.
Yeah.
Well,
That's tough
we
stuff
used
right
to. It's tantamount to how you treat the microwave at work versus the microwave at home. Blow up the burrito at work and go back to your cubicle. At home, you better get it before it dries, right?
Right.
So I've often said, and I really do mean this, for everybody all the time. And obviously what goes on in the bathrooms is a goddamn disaster, and thus, in SoCal at least, you can't use a bathroom at a gas station or anything anymore because the people just got tired of people going in there and defiling it that way. If you have a mode, and your mode is one mode only, not a here's what I do when I drive someone else's car and here's how I treat my own car. Like, I see people, oftentimes, the people that are the worst people on the planet, listen to me, bad people, the bigger the chasm between your stuff and other people's stuff and how you go about it. Meaning, if you find a wallet on the ground and it's filled with cash and you go, oh, I could be returning this to a stranger or I could be returning it to myself. Like, no chasm. The purest you'll ever be, the best you'll ever be as a human being is walking down the street, seeing a nail on the ground in front of someone else's driveway and bending over and picking it up and throwing it away. Not stopping in your driveway. Now, of course, people are wired that way. And there's an element of, well, there's the microwave at work and then there's the microwave at home. But if you simply have one mode for microwaves, which is I cook my food in it, and if the coffee spills or the burrito bursts a leak or whatever, I promptly clean it up and wipe it down. If that is your only mode, you'll see it all the time if you work with guys. Like, they have, here's how I treat my tools, and here's how I treat your tools. And there's a big gap in between how they, and also, we all know people do that, like, with money. It's like, hey, when I lend you money, I need to be paid back, like, like immediately, whatever. And if you lend me money, we'll get to it when we get to it. I thought I paid you back.
If we get to it.
Big chasms.
Yeah.
Now, you know who has big chasms between how they treat their shit and what they expect out of you and their life and how they treat your shit and what they expect out of you? You know who has the biggest chasms on the planet? The fast twitch. No. Kids.
I see that coming.
Kids. Who has the greatest chasm?
Yeah. Right.
The greatest chasm are kids because they're kids. So 5-year-olds go, okay, here's a pack of M&Ms. There's Johnny and Susie. You guys just split up. Well, whoever gets their whole hands on the M&Ms owns the bag of M&Ms, even though you just handed them the bag of M&Ms. And we told them to split it with their sister.
Good luck.
Maybe they'll get one, and then I'll keep 39, and that seems fair to me. So that's how kids are wired. And when you see people that go to parks and throw garbage on the ground or screw up the bathroom or, just go use something, the barbecue at the park and leave all the mess at the camping site or whatever it is, and or all the little things, like hey, I'm done with my gum. Am I in my living room? No. Am I on my driveway? No. Good. I'm going to fire it out of my mouth. I'm going to eject it into the air out of my mouth. It'll just land on the sidewalk because this is a sidewalk. It's not my sidewalk. It's a sidewalk. The greater chasm between those individuals, the worst human beings. The worst the human being, and not only do you think, well, that horrible human being might flourish because he's not going to be spending time cleaning up the company microwave or dutifully putting away his gum. Au contraire. The people I know that are the best in that department are guys like Jimmy Kimmel, who are actually more careful of your stuff than they would be of their stuff. And
That's
those
the
people
point, yeah.
actually thrive because people start to learn, oh, I want that guy handling my stuff. And my stuff isn't my gum or my microwave. It's my project or my career or whatever it is. And the people that have the greatest chasm are the fucking biggest losers on the planet. They're all the fucking unemployable dudes you see bouncing around. All the people that are like constantly on the grift. Half the people I went to high school with, looking for an angle, figuring out how can I get shit from other people. I want to use that guy's microwave. I don't want him using my microwave. I'm going to fuck up his microwave. He's not getting near mine. Those fucking people get nothing. So the bigger the chasm, the more you're wired like a fucking 5-year-old, and the less success you'll ever have. Thank you.
Well, look, I'm sorry, Gina, but one of the crazy things is, let's say, Adam, you had a truck, and I needed to borrow your truck. I would take your truck, I would use your truck, and then I would probably take it to the car wash and fill it up with gas for 2 reasons. Number one, I want you to think better of me. And number two, I may need that truck again. It's like, it makes sense to, hey, this guy loaned me his truck. It had a half a tank of gas, is going back with a full tank of gas, and it was job, right?
Right. It's
That's
a
just
marathon.
so simple.
It's a marathon. Right. It's not a fast twitch sprint. It's a marathon. And you say truck. It's perfect. When I owned a truck, there were 2 occasions. It was funny. One time, Donnie borrowed it when I was like 22, and I said, "Hey man, I don't have insurance on this truck, and this truck is my livelihood. It's my livelihood. So you take it easy. Like if the clutch go easy on the clutch, easy on the brakes. Like you need it to like move or do something." And I said, "So take it easy because I need this truck to work, and I don't have insurance." And I remember coming home. It was Laurel Canyon and Riverside, I think it was. It was the Gelson's parking lot. And it was raining really hard on like a Saturday night or something. And I was coming home, and I looked to the right, and I saw a red truck doing donuts in the parking lot, like literally like sliding sideways, like e-brakes and donuts. And I was like, oh, that's my truck. Oh, it's raining, and it's a big blacktop parking lot.
Yeah.
And
Would have been an opportunity
he's
missed.
going fast and furious. And the other time I lent it out to Ray, and I said, same speech, like, hey, this is my truck. I need this truck. You got to take it easy on the truck, whatever it is. And he came back from whatever job or whatever he was doing, and it was just filled with construction debris. Like they had cleaned out, busted up a driveway and like filled it up, whatever. And he just dropped it. Forget about putting gas in it. No. It was filled to the top. And I was like, "You're done with the truck?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm done with the truck. Have fun unloading," or whatever. And he like threw the keys to me and walked away.
Wow.
And
That's a move.
those guys aren't doing nearly as well as Kimmel.
Yeah.
That's my bold statement for the day.
And when you mentioned the kids and the park, the first thing that popped into my mind is we take the 3-year-old to the park every single day. And just the other day, there was trash by our car. And I start picking it up, and the 3-year-old says, "No, that's not our trash." And do you know what my response was? But it is our park.
Wow.
And I hope that that's going to be something that he'll remember.
You're living in the middle, baby. Garrigus, what happened to him?
I was still waiting on him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got to be getting down about that time. All right, I'll tell you about Castrol Edge, and then Gina, why don't you go heat up your offerings there, because we're going to eat some of your feelings. Castrol Edge, you can tweet us at Adam Carolla Show with hashtag Castrol Challenge with your question for Castrol Challenge. Castrol Edge, brought to you by Castrol Edge. You got a question, Max Spada?
Sure do. This is from Instagram. LV Theater Girl wants to know, hashtag Castrol Challenge. I have a bet between my husband and myself. Driving a manual or stick, and you're driving when you get to a red light. Do you downshift each gear to first, or just put it in neutral and cruise to stop?
I wouldn't downshift it into first. Some cars have a long first gear. I say, like my Porsche race car, that car will go like up to 80 miles an hour in like first gear, but most cars aren't geared that way. Coasting to a stop is fine, but you work the brake pads a little harder. Using your engine to slow you is kind of a good thing, but you are depressing the clutch and the pressure plate, the throw-out bearing, and the slave cylinder, and you're asking it all to do something. So that slow twitch slave cylinder, you don't want to have to work that thing too hard. So
Come on,
I would say
settle the bet.
I want these two to stay together. I got a good feeling about these kids. I would say I would
LV theater girl. You like her? The cut of her jib.
I live somewhere in the middle, which is I would drop it down into third gear, and then I would sort of coast in third gear, and the gear will slow you, and then pop the clutch in and pop it into neutral. But don't downshift into first gear. All right, thank you. And that was brought by Castrol Edge, formulated with fluid titanium technology. Yeah, everybody, I don't know if you guys want to try this little experiment, but I got to tell you, it's sort of liberating to try to not draw a distinguishing space at all between your stuff and everyone else's stuff.
Right.
And so you just go down the street, and if you notice a sheet metal screw on the ground, you just bend over and pick it up. Or if you're going around your house and your wife's stuff's over there, your kid's stuff's there, you just pick it up as if it was your stuff. Like, just sort of, if you notice it, you act on it, you pick it up, you move forward. It's liberating.
I have a little story about that. Years ago, I was walking with a client, and we were doing a hike up the hill near our house, and we passed a house that was under construction, because in Beverly Hills, all houses are always under construction
That's right.
at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And there were 5 roofing nails. And as you know, roofing nails only fall pointy side up because
Yeah.
of the big wide bottom.
Yeah.
And
Head. Yes.
I bent over and started picking them up, and they weren't close to each other. You could see them. And she said, "Why are you doing that?" I said, "Well, number one, we could have stepped on these, and that's a tetanus shot, or someone can roll over these and get a flat. But either way, it's just 5." And she said to me, "Yeah, I would have helped you with that, but my back is hurting." And I'm like, "Oh, no, I got them. I'll just grab them." And I grabbed them and I threw them in the next garbage can. We walked about another half a block, and there was a quarter on the ground. You've never seen anyone bend over and pick up a quarter as fast as this one did. You know, I say, "Oh, the back is all better."
Wow.
25 cents. This is a rich woman. She's like, oh my God, a quarter. And,
Slow twitch, Hebrew, muscle fascia.
Slowest of twitches.
All right.
Such a slow twitch.
Such a slow twitch already. He should have his tire popped by a roofing nail already. Okay, Gina Grad, you're heating up your offerings
Yes,
to us.
sir.
We will take ourselves a quick break. We'll come back and sample Gina's food, not into the microphone, right after this.
She could not stop beating the sugar and the grain. Then our friend Vinnie helped her lose the weight she gained. Now she's cooking healthy meals at night, and ever since then her clothes aren't as tight. It's time for Eat Your Feelings. Do some healthy eating with Gina's recipes.
Hi. So today, I know I've been doing a lot of dairy. Last time Vinny was here, it was au gratin this and lasagna that, and that's great. But I talked to Vinny about this a little bit off the air. I've been having a little bit of problem. The scale's not been moving. And if anything, it's been moving ounces and ounces in the wrong direction. I said, Vinny, I don't know what's going on. And you said, you know what, you might be somebody who just can't go on dairy overload. It's not going to help you. So for the last 2 weeks, I've been really focusing on non-dairy meals for me, and thank God things are moving in the right direction again. So I made up these spicy Thai chicken lettuce cups, and I think they're pretty good. I hope you guys like them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
I was
bro.
gonna say you're on a hot streak because the lasagna
Thank
last week was
you.
one of my favorites, and I love that. I can clean my plate again. It's fantastic. I love chicken lettuce cups. These are fantastic.
I
Oh,
do
thank
too.
you.
They're kind of Thai, kind of peanut, kind of spicy.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's awesome.
And the reason why I had to do a little science on them was because every single recipe says just get one of those really syrupy sweet sauces and just pour it on top, and we can't do that.
Don't eat it.
So I combined chili garlic sauce, which has no sugar, plus a little bit of peanut butter, a little soy sauce, and a little lime juice.
Awesome.
That's all it is. That's all the sauce is. This meal, because I made another one this morning for you guys, the whole meal took me 18 minutes to make.
So easy.
No.
It's so
the lasagna took me 3.5 hours.
Good.
Actually,
I wish
This
it took
took
9.
me less than 20 minutes because you're just browning the chicken and the onion, and you're just putting a few things in it, and you put them in lettuce cups. That's it. This one is fast.
It is, and it was delectable. My only critique is it was probably a little too zesty for me. For me, it was probably a click too spicy.
For you, I'm
For
shocked.
me. Well, I'm kind of weird. So I'm a weird, I'm a hard-edged puss. Meaning, after I'm done dunking myself in a freezing cold swimming pool in La Cañada in December, I get into my car with sweatpants and this hoodie and everything else, and I go, woo, the car is cold.
With a blankie.
It's cold in here. And I turn my steering wheel warmer on and my
Wow.
seat warmer on because the car's parked and it's 30 degrees
It's
outside.
chilly.
It's so chilly. So I have this weird thing where I can throw myself in the pool, or I can go on hot ones and eat the Mega 7 million on the Scoville scale. But I can also... No, this doesn't offend me. Hold on.
put that on the cover of the book.
I know. Can
Not
I please have
offensive.
you write my forward?
Not an attack on my taste buds. No, I have a thing with food where I have a kind of a zesty Mason-Dixon line, and at a certain point, if I cross over, it becomes more about the zest and less about something I wish rhymed with the word zest that meant flavor.
Best.
I want the best, not the zest. No, at a certain point, it goes, oh, I'm experiencing the zest of this more than I'm taking in the flavor.
umami.
It was really good. I ate my whole thing in 13 seconds, and I recommend it highly. If I were making a batch for myself, I would go 20% less in the hot
And
department.
I'm glad you said that, because all of the stuff when it comes to the sauces, all of the stuff, play with it, adjust it as you need it. I actually didn't use all of the sauce in our mixture because I'm not a big spicy person, and I didn't know if it'd be too spicy for anybody else. But take the chili garlic sauce down a little bit, add a little more soy sauce or a little more lemon juice, play with the ratio, whatever works for you. But this does have, I hate when people say this at restaurants, it has a kick. Should I order that? Oh, it has a kick. This one has a little kick, and if you want to adjust it, you're welcome to. And this and everything else is available at my website, grainfreecomfortfood.com.
Eat your feelings. Do some healthy eating.
It's very good, and in what Vinny's talking about is like there is even another strata to get to in this department sometimes, and that means probably dairy's the first to go if you're.
Yeah, some people just have a problem with dairy, and you never know. It's kind of like figuring out if you have celiac or not. What the doctors do is say, all right, stop having wheat and let's see what happens. Oh, wait, you feel a lot better. You had celiac. That's how they test. Some people, I can eat dairy all day long, no problem. Gina, you can. And
I want to eat dairy all day long, but it wasn't working.
And by the way, you could probably still have some butter and heavy cream, and that's fine, but it's that lactose that just gets, half the people have a problem with it.
Yeah. All right. It was you didn't miss the dairy, and it was not scary. There, that rhymed. Which is still not really a compliment. The Vinnie plug. No, it's a weird. I'm always in a weird position because what happens is like Olga will make something, and I'll go, it's really good.
I can't rhyme this.
For food.
It's good. It's a little bit salty, but it's good.
Yeah.
And I'm going to eat all of it. But next time you make it, bring down the salt just a little bit, and then Lynette will go, "What are you saying?" And I'll go, "Look, I'm just saying."
Dialing
And next time you do it, it's a 9, and next time it'll be a 10 when you bring down the sodium just a pinch. For me, that's what I'm tasting. And then my feeling is like,
pussy.
Well, that's very
there's too
protective.
much salt. There's too much. There's too much spice. I thought it was perfect, Gina.
Thank you, Vinnie.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I thought it could use a little more spice.
Oh,
From Cajun
there you
country.
go.
Cajun country.
There you go, right in the middle.
yeah.
Lynette's very proprietary about other people's recipes.
Yes, she is.
Wait, she gets upset on behalf of Olga?
No, here's the problem. I give people notes. Like I tell people, this is
you
good.
Give Olga notes on food?
I'm paying the gal.
Who, the what?
No, she's making food for me, and she's going, "What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think?" And I'm
You're
going,
like, the C story dropped out about halfway through.
"Yeah, I'm reading her script of life." What happens is it gets onto a rotation, and she'll make it again in 4 days. And when she makes it again, I'll go, this time, back out the salt a little bit. Also, I'm very much of the mindset of, it's like if you ever order any kind of ramen or anything, they give you a packet. Anytime there's a flavor, taco seasoning, use 1 packet for every half gram. Use less. Because it's usually a little too much. It's usually a little too salty. It's a little overpowering, and
You could always add more.
you could just tack on a little bit more salt or a little more zest or a little anything you want. So
Yeah, and Vinnie, this isn't just Olga. The first time I ever made you goulash, right when I started, you waited until we got in a really long line, Adam, at the Burbank airport, and then started to give me notes.
that's right.
So that's how he rolls.
That's right. I have thoughts.
He had thoughts.
I will never cook for you, man.
My thoughts are, I would like you to be the goulash queen of NoHo, and you're never going to get there.
You'll never be Mariska
Never-
Hargitay.
Yes, you'll never be recognized for your goulash greatness
Thank you.
without a couple of very well intended notes.
Thank you very much.
That is all.
My next guess is the goulash queen. No.
Bring Bougie in. Bougie was my sister. Bougie was Laszlo Gorog, my grandfather. Bougie was his sister.
Of course.
And Bela, of course, was his brother.
And I know those names are real because I had some Hungarian friends.
You can't make up Bougie.
No, you can't.
All right. No word from Mark, so we'll keep you posted if he calls in or whatever. That guy's always just literally he's out of the country, he's in and out of courtrooms. If he can get us, he'll get us. Okay. Vinnie Tortorich, Fat, a documentary coming soon. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram at Vinnie Tortorich. And the vitamins, which I take every morning, and the coffee as well, purevitaminclub.com. And the coffee, which is awesome. We all drink it here, purecoffeeclub.com as well. All right, so we got, let's see, who do we got here? Oh, we got Matt and Bill coming in, founders of The Hard Times and the Hard Times podcast. We'll talk to those two right after this.
In the spirit of Murrow, Jennings, Cronkite, here's another great moment in local news.
Hermela, I believe that was Nipsey's brother that just walked right past you there with the backpack.
Yes. Can you possibly talk to him for a second?
Let's see if we can stop him. Hold on.
Well, don't you have to
second.
stop him. Just you maybe keep your camera where it is, but you could walk and talk to him.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's see.
His reaction to an amazing scene.
Carmella, he said okay.
He said no. He said no.
I didn't know that.
I already told you that before you even went up there. Come on,
We never
have some type of respect.
We never talked.
I just said he ain't do no interview.
Got you.
Well, we got the answer there, didn't we?
That's a great moment in local news. Now, back to the Adam Carolla Show.
The fast twitch muscle community is grieving over Nipsey Hussle's tragic loss. Matt, is it SaneCom?
Yeah.
And Bill Conway. There's the last name, Bill Conway, in studio. Hard Times podcast, the founders of Hard Times, which is, is it like, I guess like The Onion, I guess, or if you guys don't like that, I should
The Onion
say
for the
that.
punk kids.
The Onion for the punk kids. How does this, how do you two meet? How does it come together? And how does it become what it is today?
We met on Bill's podcast.
Yeah, I did a podcast a few years back, which is now defunct, but Matt and I are both straight edge dudes, so we don't do drugs or drink or anything like that. And my podcast was talking to straight edge guys, and we just met through that and became instant friends. And eventually he posted something on Facebook about wanting to start a website, and I was like, hey, I'm in. And more than our friends read it, so we were happy about that.
Is straight edge, to me, means the punk movement, straight edge punk movement, but is there just straight edge meaning I don't partake in drugs?
I think that's like sober. You know, I think it's a little different because the straight edge thing has like a community behind it.
It's a little bit more of an aggressive sort of thing, I think. It's kind of, I don't know.
We replace it with violence.
But straight edge means I'm sober, but I'm still in a mosh pit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%. We're stage diving, no problem. You know?
What's the state of punk rock? I haven't thought about it in a million years. I grew up right in the middle of punk rock, and I out here, and I was listening to K-Rock, and I'd go... God, I'm trying to think of some of the crazy concerts, but I'd go see the Plasmatics and these bands and the Germs and all these like crazy...
You saw the Germs?
Yeah, all and also weird sort of ska, the Bus Boys and weird bands like that were like punk rock meets some ska, meets some punk rock, meets some whatever, and even earlier versions of like Oingo Boingo, which weren't like movie soundtrack Oingo Boingo, but weird punky ska-y sort of less commercial Oingo Boingo, and you'd see them at Perkins Palace or the Country Club in the Reseda. But are there punk bands now, and like who's a big punk band, and like who would be a punk band that would be equivalent to some of the punk bands from the 70s and 80s?
So in my personal opinion, the biggest band that is coming out of the punk scene right now would probably be Turnstile, who just played Coachella. It's a different sound, so the sound's evolved quite a bit. It's a little bit more rock and roll-y than the Germs. But yeah, I would say Turnstile, because all those guys played in traditional sounding hardcore bands, but now they play in a band that's a little bit, they play Coachella.
So has punk gotten a little more melodic and a little less violent, or what's the evolution of punk?
I think there's so many subgenres at this point where it's just kind of tough to, pinpoint it down, like where, you say punk, but they're like, it's more of a crust punk with a, sort of fusion thing going on here. But
I always say that I think that our website is proof that punk is a little bit dead because we're just joking about all the stuff in the punk scene. We're not taking it very seriously at all. And a lot of the people who read our website are people who grew up in the punk scene but now see kind of the silly parts of it.
They're all jaded ex-punks, more or less, Yeah.
I'm thinking like back to the K-Rock days and like the Dead Kennedys, the Dead Milkmen.
Where did you see the Germs?
Oh God, hold on.
Easy on the Germs.
Gergos wants to come in studio tomorrow. Okay, so
he's gonna try to do that. Yeah.
We'll get you guys caught up tomorrow. like, I don't know, Perkins Palace or the Reseda Country Club or, I don't know, Gazzari's or something. I know one of those weird clubs that were around here that may or may not exist anymore.
Cool.
How'd you find out yourself at these punk shows?
I remember
Shanghai.
I just remember we just wanted to go and bang into people in the mosh pit and do that ourselves because we were like 17 and we're like, why not?
Right.
And I would never, like, I didn't have a credit card or know anyone who worked at Licorice Pizza or someplace like that. So somebody would go, I'm getting tickets for the whatever Saturday night. And it's not like I ever had a car or plans or a date or anything. So if one of the guys just went and got the tickets, then you would just end up going.
So you just ended up there.
You'd pay him back his $13 or whatever it was, and you just go. I didn't even know a lot of the times. God, Max Panis, you still over there? If you ever try to take a look at like some of the lineups of like Perkins Palace or some of the lineups of the country club, like from the late 70s, early 80s, you'll just see all of those weird bands.
We just had Keith Morris of Black Flag and Circle Jerks on our podcast, and he was telling us all these great stories. I like old LA punk stories. Yeah, they're great.
There must be a lot of them, and Black Flag. God, what was their? They did, and some of those bands would get spins on K-Rock.
Yeah,
and. What was the one? Was it Black Flag where he just wanted to drink a Coke in his room and they wouldn't leave him alone?
That's Suicidal Tendencies.
Oh, that's Suicidal
Pepsi.
Tendencies.
All I wanted was a Pepsi.
Right. All he wanted was a Pepsi. And then there was...
That's another classic LA band.
There was TV Party.
That's Black Flag.
That's Black Flag. So Black Flag was TV Party tonight.
Yeah,
Black Flag was
Henry
drinking...
Rollins on vocals at that point.
Right.
So Black Flag was drinking black coffee. Right? Drinking black coffee, and Suicidal Tendencies, they wanted a Pepsi.
They wanted a Pepsi. Well,
This is the only way you can tell them apart.
Yeah.
You can see if you can find that. There was, of course, Teenage Enema Nurse. I don't know who the hell sung that. There was the one we were laughing about.
This is institutionalized, right? This is the Pepsi song.
Yeah.
You remember this song?
Yeah. Well, I remember from K-Rock. Yeah.
And I get real frustrated. They're like, I try hard to do it, and I take my time, but it just doesn't work out the way I want it to. It's like I concentrate on real hard, but it just doesn't work out. And everything I do and everything I try, it never turns out. It's like I need time to figure these things out. There's always someone there going, hey Mike, we've been noticing you've been having a lot of problems lately, You should maybe get away. And like, maybe you should talk about it, you'll feel a lot better. And I go, no, it's okay,
You can see why the song was so popular.
I'll figure it out.
It kicks in.
I'm working on myself. They go, well, if you want to talk about it, I'll be here,
You know this one, Gina?
No.
Talk about it.
It's not a classic rock
I go,
thing.
no, I don't want to. I'm okay. I'll figure it out myself. If they just keep bugging me, there's pills on the side. It's got to be a suicide to come up but not. You will have anything. I'm very much interested away. I'm not drinking.
This doesn't make you want to circle pick Gina or anything like that? Just start running around the studio?
Everything makes me want to.
Yeah.
This is the hook. This is the part you hum as you walk down the street.
This is the part you can't get out of your head.
Finger popping music. Is Fear a punk band?
Hell
and
yeah.
is X a punk band?
Absolutely.
Dude, Fear's playing. We're going to Punk Rock Bowling in Vegas on the 24th.
May
We're going to have a
24th.
tent there. And Fear's playing on Saturday. Yeah, it's a Fear's playing that night, and same with Rancid.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever seen the footage of Fear on SNL? That like legendary performance, like John Belushi agreed to return to like host or be on the show if Fear would play, and a bunch of like Washington D.C. like punk kids came up and just like trashed the place, caused a bunch of damage.
Oh, I
in the
never
studio.
saw that.
Yeah,
It's a
there's
great
footage
clip.
of it, and like the singer of Minor Threat, Ian MacKaye, is heard on the mic screaming "New York sucks" at one point. And it's like a legendary
I feel like
story.
Saxophones, it's
Exactly.
okay.
Yeah,
But I don't know if it sucks. Holy
You asked about the violence in the punk scene. I actually went to a Suicidal Tendencies show just a couple years ago, and the gang unit of the LA Police Department was just like circling the block. Just,
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah, just making sure that. I guess the Suicidal Tendencies, they're a big gang band. They got a bunch of gang members. I don't know.
So the punk rock scene is alive. I don't know if it's well, but there's certainly nostalgia, and there's certainly like a lot of these guys. Probably the attrition rate for the punk rock scene. I mean, more overdoses, more motorcycle accidents, like less original lead singers and band members around.
This This is tangentially related, but it made me think of it because I love this documentary. You guys ever see The Other F Word?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great documentary about punks who are, musicians who've grown up now in their 40s and older or whatever, and they have kids, and it's F being for father, fatherhood or whatever. So it's about these punks, reformed punks, or some are still pretty, in the game, and they're like, raising little kids. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, in that documentary, Lars Ferguson of Rancid is a big member of that documentary, and he was on our podcast and he told us a story about getting stabbed, which was amazing. These old punk guys have the best stories.
He told a story about being 11 years old, high on PCP, and popping his friend's eyeball out with like a toy, and now he's like, his son's 11 years old, and he's like, he gets about 2 hours of screen time a month. It's just like, oh, geez. It's like, how'd you get PCP? It's like, I was running drugs for the Hells Angels. Like, oh, of course.
Wait, what were you doing at 11?
Do you have Max Battisari, that SNL, what was it? Who was
Fear?
Oh, Fear, performing on SNL. You can try to find a
The Other
classic
F Word
clip.
streaming on Hulu, by the way, if anyone wants to watch it.
Yeah, it's good, and it definitely gives you some perspective. All right, let me tell you about Tommy John. I'll let Chris see if you can find that clip. I don't think I've seen that clip. Close your eyes and picture your current underwear. Don't like what you're seeing? Well, it's time for Tommy John, obsessed with every little detail. Performance fabrics that guarantee no wedgies. Men's underwear with a contour pouch. Quick draw fly, stay put waistbands, feather light, moisture wicking, breathable fabrics. If you don't love your first pair, you get a full refund because they got the best pair you'll ever wear. It's free guarantee. I'm wearing mine right now. This stuff is the best. You won't go back to what you were wearing before you got to Tommy John. Still need a Mother's Day gift? Get her limited edition loungewear or gift sets before they sell out. It's a game changer. It is the best. It is Tommy John, right, Dawson?
Hurry to TommyJohn.com/Adam now and get 20% off your first order. That's TommyJohn.com/Adam for 20% off. TommyJohn.com/Adam.
All right, let's see. Max Pat will look around for that clip. Oh, it's Fear. Yeah, I'm trying to think if I saw this one. Circa what, 79?
I think it's like 82 or 83.
Oh,
this
early
must have
80s.
been after the Lorne Michael years, yeah.
After?
Well, he took like 5 years off.
Oh, and then came
in
back.
Like the early 80s, yeah.
Right.
81.
I think the
81.
word is they did like $200,000 worth of damage this night.
So,
Yeah, like all these dudes are like New York and Washington, D.C. hardcore kids that are just in the studio.
For every one of you that voted, this is for Republicans and Democrats alike.
everyone's just running around the stage. They're banging everybody.
It's amazing to see this video and then know that we're going to go see these guys play like in a month.
Is leaving, is he acting still or doing parts and stuff? He did a lot of sort of mainstream movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, he did a couple.
If you look it up, you'll see, like IMDb or whatever, you'll see like some popular movies that he did. Like he was sort of like, oh, God, I should do show prep. Billy, what's his name?
Why start now?
Yeah, the hot guy.
Oh, he's so on IMDb. His four best known are Flashdance, Clue,
right? Flashdance,
Black Moon Rising, which I don't know what that is, and Fame.
He was
The
Mr.
TV show.
He was Mr. Body in Clue. That's who we're talking about.
He was definitely like the bouncer in Flashdance, and the guy I'm thinking of, the hot guys, the Billy Joe. God, what's his name? The guy who sings hot.
Oh, Poindexter. Buster Poindexter.
Buster Poindexter also acted in a bunch of movies too, and also
New York Dolls.
New York Dolls.
His character on one of those things was just called Leather Jacket.
Yeah, that's him.
Whenever they needed a
Born to
punk guy
play.
named Spike or something, that was the guy they went to.
All right, should we do? And by the way, shoot these guys a tweet at Real Punk News. You guys hang in. Gina will do the news, and you guys crack wise. How about it?
Let's do
Give me the news with Grad, news with Gino Grad, breaking viral, all those crazy Trump tweets. Give me news with Gina Grad, trouble in the Middle East, celebrity drunk meltdowns. Need news with Gina Grad.
The news with Gina Grad.
So I guess we'll set the table a little bit for hopefully Mark's going to come in tomorrow and give a little more insight on this lawsuit. So as we mentioned earlier, TMZ reports that the two brothers who allegedly faked the Jussie Smollett attack are suing the actor's lawyers. Not Jussie, they're suing his lawyers, Mark Geragos and Tina Glandian, for defamation, claiming the attorneys lied to the media and tried to make it appear Ola and Abel were the culprits in a real homophobic and racist attack. So here's a quick clip from the brothers' attorneys' news conference Tuesday morning, just happened.
Hold on. Why is their shirt on? Every time I see these guys, her shirts would be off.
Yeah.
I mean, rules are rules. You're going to represent.
You're going to live the lifestyle, man.
It is
right.
skin-colored.
All right,
Here's
here we
what she
go.
has to say.
My city, my police department, and my clients all deserve to have their reputations restored. Attorneys Mark Geragos and Tina Glandian, through their continued false statements and hateful rhetoric, have only deepened the damage that was caused by the very first out of 16 counts of lies that were told to the police that started this whole situation.
So she...
It's weird that law was a direction she went. I feel like if she was in your speech and debate class in the 8th grade, you'd be like, yeah, you should get into manufacturing or something.
You know why?
How you do with furniture design?
You know why I use that clip, Adam?
Why?
Because it gets worse.
Oh, really?
The eye contact and the stuttering and stuff, and I thought, well, there's a solid beginning that we'll just use that.
Well,
She's
look,
not a
I
great public speaker.
don't begrudge, but it's sort of like if you want to be a bouncer, you got to have a strong back. Like I wouldn't be a great bouncer, or Max Zapata wouldn't be a great bouncer. Turns out he's fair to middling at producing podcasts, so he's got another calling. But my point is like, I don't know, maybe getting up in front of people and delivering soliloquies is not your thing.
Well, don't the majority of lawyers never actually see the inside of a courtroom and
I
like
think it's
litigation,
probably
like
that.
contract law, and whatever.
The thing about lawyers that we have to work with, we run our own company or whatever, is I feel like
punks,
when they go to negotiate with the other guys, it's like they're all on the same team,
Oh,
right? Because the
they're all
clock's
friends.
running.
Oh, for
So
sure.
who cares for
Oh,
them?
yeah.
Let's just sit around and negotiate this thing for 3 hours because we're paying $300 an hour.
Oh,
or
if you
whatever,
know
right?
anyone who's ever gone through a divorce, those two opposing counsels, best friends when it's all over. So the suit says that when Tina Glandian, this is the Tina part, went on GMA, she went on Today's Show, and Reasonable Doubt, after the charges against Jussie were dismissed, she told a string of lies. That's what they're saying, including that the brothers wore whiteface during the attack and that they're involved in a Nigerian steroid ring. Here's her. She's talking on. I think this is Good Morning America, and this is what
The
she had to
steroid
say.
ring's more believable than the whiteface.
Well, she
Wait,
before you play it, that she is just coming off of a monologue about how she saw a video of them with one of them in Joker makeup doing a Joker monologue, so they know how to use
It
it.
wasn't whiteface. Can I say this? We live in a marvelous time where whether you're a white politician or a black bodybuilder from Nigeria, we can go online and find a picture of you with your face a different color.
very, very common.
It's pretty easy these days. You go, this guy's the governor of Virginia. Well, let's go online and find a picture of him as a Klansman
Well, that's his
or a
Facebook profile
blackface. And then we go, but these two are random Nigerian personal trainers. I bet we could find a picture of them and their face a different color. There it is.
I'll take that action.
Yeah,
Look
first
no
page of Google.
further.
Yeah.
It's a miraculous time we're
It is.
living in.
It's a wonderful time.
Google auto-completed it. Nigerian brothers.
So here's what she has to say.
Couple quick things. He said that these individuals were yelling at him, these homophobic and racist smears. Why didn't he recognize their voices? He had just hung up, literally just hung up with one of them.
Sure. I mean, people say this as if this is a regular interaction. I mean, if you're walking in the street and somebody screams, you turn around and before you can even process what they look like, you've been punched in the face, and now next thing you're on the floor and you're being kicked. I mean, this is not a regular. This is a very brief interaction. You know, all of 30 to 45 seconds with your head being thrown around by punches, and so this isn't somebody
like a
who's
bad brain
digesting
show.
what's happening. I mean, this is there's excitement
Wait,
and fear
45
and
seconds
all of
is
these
a
things
long
happening.
time.
And so
That clip was like 20 seconds.
It's
45
always-
seconds is a long time.
It's always weird when people are arguing all the minor points of these things. Like,
Yeah.
didn't the guy, when the cop showed up, didn't he still have the noose around his neck? Like, it's all
Yes.
fake. Let's not talk about why didn't he recognize the voice. 'Cause It's all fake. It's all
Call
made
him
up.
out.
No.
He's got a lot of hot takes.
The gay part, I wonder if that's even involved. But how do you prove you don't suck cock?
I guess by not.
You know what I
sucking,
mean?
huh?
Like, I could prove I do.
Mm-hmm. I
Okay.
guess 40 years of evidence is the
But I
best
don't know
could
how
do.
I can prove I don't.
Do you think the Nigerian bodybuilders have to prove that? Is that your?
The onus is on their mouth. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been around the courts enough to know
They
that
did
it's up
also
to
look
them
like-
to prove.
They're jacked and they're shaved, which I would say.
Yeah.
Strike 1 and 2.
It's all part of the mosaic. Yeah. So
We'll get more insight on that tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow Garrigus will come in here and he'll have strong thoughts about it.
You got to be careful of that. Who you invite on to talk about Jesse Smollett, right? You get
Oh,
some,
everyone already hates me. But
I don't hate you, Adam.
But look at the
You
days.
haven't listened very much.
Yeah, give it
Yeah,
time.
but how about Avenatti and
Tune
all
in
the
tomorrow.
stuff that comes out about Avenatti? I mean, we're doing some wild attorney swings these days.
Yeah.
It used
Oh,
to
yeah,
be
yeah.
attorneys were like just something
Like
F. Lee
bankers.
Bailey
Yeah.
or something, and he's it was a couple movies, a couple things. Now it's ubiquitous.
Yeah.
A lot of lady attorneys, although I don't know.
Just call them attorneys.
Lady attorneys. Well, people should know so they can make the proper decision when hiring. But I'm not saying
Lady
good or
attorney
bad.
law.
No, I think the reason we're seeing 65% female attorneys, although I don't think that the attorney pool is 65% ladies. I think the deal is
How do you know off the
featured.
top of your head the percentage of women lawyers? I like that.
on TV.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
it's sort of like in movies. Black judges. Like the judges are always black. There's no way in movies
yeah.
it's 80% black female judges.
For a while, it was every god was black, right?
Every god
Yeah.
and every black judge. Now, I'm guessing if you check the court system, you wouldn't find it'd be into the 80% of black African American women sitting on the bench. But
on
the
Law and
movies
Order.
take a thing.
Yeah.
Well, but if you're being sued, you got to get the right person in front of you. And it kind of depends on what you're being sued for, what you're suing for, or if you're male or if you're whatever, and you have to sort of pick the face of the person. And I think females in this sort of woke age, it's better to have that
Yeah.
as your representation.
Do you think that pertains to Gloria Allred?
I think she's
sphere, man.
transcended
Exception that proves the rule?
sexuality and lives in some
weird
some sort of
void.
nether world where ovaries and peni and areolas and fallopian tubing don't really exist. She's just kind of she's become her own thing.
Yeah.
It's like one of those gyro sandwiches or gyros or whatever
Gyro?
it is. Gyro.
Gyro.
It's,
Oh, you've
it's got
traveled.
meat. We're not sure what. We don't know. It's meat.
Yeah, to Glendale.
That's her.
Okay. Just
Oh, yeah.
Pantsuit Nation.
Because she's doing something with Herman Cain now.
What?
Wait, he's still around?
Well, he got busted again. That's why he's
555
recently in the news.
She had a press conference the other day that was like, if Herman Cain is nominated for, I don't know, district selectman or something, I got a gal here
Yes.
who's going to describe
No,
his
it's
penis.
Fed chairman.
Oh, when you said
What
she,
is
It's Fed chairman he's being nominated
Fed
for,
chairman.
Right?
yeah, and
Right?
Something.
when you said she's doing something with him, I thought you meant she was taking his side.
That's a
which
bad
was
sign.
Breaking.
Yeah, that's my fault. No, she's basically saying,
Yeah. Oh, that
I got
makes
a
sense.
client here,
That makes
and if he
sense.
moves ahead with what he's planning on doing, she's going to
gonna
describe
talk.
his honker.
So he just went right back to selling pizzas.
like-
He's like, screw it.
People were tweeting me like, "Isn't that blackmail?" I'm like, well, we got the black.
blackmail.
I don't know.
Might be
It's a
from the
male.
male.
I mean, they got that part going. It seems weird that we're living in a time. I think she was saying like, I'm going to describe his parts or what he did to
In
me or
great
something
detail.
if he goes ahead here.
Wow.
Didn't Herman Cain kill someone? Am I off about
I think
that?
you may be thinking Don King.
or Barbara Bush.
I feel like that was a thing when
Ted
they were
Kennedy?
Yeah,
during
it's
the
Ted
debates.
Kennedy.
Was it
You may be thinking, yeah,
Laura Bush.
Ted Kennedy or
all politicians are killing people?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like Herman Cain killed someone with an axe. Is what I feel like.
Jeez.
wow, that's
This
We'll
is
just throw that out there.
Is it like Raising Cain? Is it like a movie you saw?
Maybe you can recommend me a lawyer when that comes back to bite me.
Stick around. Garagos will be walking in the building about 22 hours.
Herman Cain allegedly killed someone with an axe.
There
Is
you
that what
go.
you mean? Just put allegedly
Yeah,
in
allegedly.
there. Okay.
Yeah.
So, the other day we talked about this whole upskirting notion and how it's now finally illegal in the UK.
Can I say this? We need to bring back dueling and fisticuffs because the proliferation of attorneys is we've got rid of. It's like there's some species that was like nutria that was like introduced to Louisiana, and they have no natural enemies in the wild. Like they're just proliferating. They're just growing and growing. And so like back in the day, there was a couple of attorneys, but everyone else settled it with their fist or had duels or called upon their seconds, and somebody slapped someone with a white glove and yelled good day. Now we're farming everything out to attorneys. Like if you think about 80% of the stuff that's going on, it's not, so-and-so was burned in an industrial fire. Now they're suing Monsanto or whatever. This is all just he said, she said, I'm going to this, you shouldn't have done that, I've lawyered up, I'm suing you, you're suing me, I'm suing you, and I'm suing your lawyer. Like, it's all...
There's a great documentary about
There's not much here.
I think it's called like Fair Fight or something. It's about Irish. There's part of Irish culture where they go out and they have bare knuckle fights to settle disputes instead of using lawyers.
Yeah.
Charming.
Yeah.
We should get
Or
this
the
one.
lawyers bare knuckle it. We
That'd
get
be nice.
Garagos in there with Gloria Allred throwing down.
Becomes like a real
pay-per-view.
steel kind of thing.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
Celebrity deathmatch.
Mm-hmm.
So a 66.
Find out what Gloria's thing was,
With
Max
Herman
Zapata, with Herman Cain. There's somebody, she represents somebody who's going to say something. By the way, I would argue that when you have the press conference and go, you go forward with this nomination and this person to my right's going to talk about how this date rape occurred, I would argue you've just done it.
Talked about it.
Yeah, sorry. Herman Cain.
that's a headline.
Blackmailed with political revenge porn.
Can you also see if he killed someone? I know I'm probably off here, but I definitely remember that in the debates. Because he was a surgeon, right?
No, you're on the other one. No, this is a black simile
dude,
situation.
That's the HUD guy. That's sleepy, tired Ben Carson.
That's Ben Carson.
Okay.
Yes, you
My
just
bad.
went what Sam did.
Yeah.
Sam Rubin did with
Samuel L. Jackson and Lawrence Fishburne.
Samuel
Herman
L.
Cain was
Jackson.
pizzas.
Yeah.
All right, I got it.
Sorry.
It's a good thing we said allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
So a 66-year-old licensed Bay Area lawyer was arrested Sunday after he allegedly taped a camera to his shoe and then moved his shoe so that the camera was under a female juvenile's dress over at an Apple store in Walnut Creek, California. His name is Jacques Bloxam.
This may be the whitest crime ever.
Walnut Creek, Apple Store, lawyer.
Shoe cam.
Upskirt.
Who would hire that guy as their lawyer, first off?
Oh, he's a personal injury guy for sure.
Okay, yeah.
So he is a personal injury attorney. He was reportedly confronted by the girl's father, and he fled the store. Officers said they found various cameras and recording devices in his car, addition to the one attached to his shoe.
Which is like a big VHS camcorder.
Right, a reel-to-reel. Bloxam was arrested and booked in Contra Costa County Jail on suspicion of using a camera to secretly record the undergarments of another person, along with annoying or molesting a child under 18. Police are investigating whether Police are investigating whether Bloxam recorded others and urge anyone with information to call the police department.
I'm guessing this isn't a one and done situation. I'm guessing when you think this is a good idea,
He's got hard drives stacked
there's
on
probably
hard
a
drives,
rich
right?
history of this.
And because we talked about that the other day and talked about how now Parliament in the UK is finally taking this whole upskirting thing seriously. And so Chris and I were talking about it. So Georgia and Texas, you're good to go. If you want to hold your camera under somebody's skirt,
Really?
there's apparently that's still fine. Oregon, it's a misdemeanor. Massachusetts, they're working on closing some loopholes.
But again, what would solve all this is my dueling policy.
Sure.
Because then the dad would challenge the cameraman to a duel and
Yeah.
we could settle this.
Lay them out. That'd be that.
How do you have so much time on your hands that you're going to go out upskirting people? Like, it seems like a weird thrill
Slow
to even
law
seek.
day.
It's also, it doesn't make sense because you go, well, just open your computer and watch some porn, you know,
Right.
like what's the difference? And that's why there's a bizarre and twisted sort of world here. Like half of it is you've got to go do it and you've got to get away with it. And there's some thrill in the crime part of it. Otherwise, imagine you could just go on the internet and look at this crap all day if you wanted, right?
Yeah, and not like it's
Chris, check that out.
Yeah.
not like it's a shoulder camera, but how do you attach a camera to your shoe and think nobody's
Gina,
going to
it's really
notice?
easy. Watch.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever it is, how do you think no one's going to see that?
Well, cameras are super small nowadays. I actually have like a weird spy camera that's a
Do you have like a
pen.
nanny cam one?
Oh, yeah. And
All right.
also,
does it fit on your shoe?
Ring is now making loafers. I don't know if you guys, they're not that comfortable, but they're good
But
for
they are
recording.
tactical.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Cameras
glad-
are getting really small.
You make a good point, and I'm glad you brought up Ring, because a woman in California confronted a brazen porch pirate attempting to steal her mail and uploaded the footage from her doorbell surveillance camera to Facebook, reminding followers that someone's always watching, according to Yahoo News. So her name's Shira Booker. She was at home on April 18th when she received an alert that there was someone at the door in Long Beach. In the surveillance video, which I'll show you in a second, the male M-A-I-L thief walks up casually to the door, looks at the mailbox, looks around, opens her mailbox, and not knowing that everything's being captured on camera. So here's what happened, according to KTLA News.
Chicks doing a lot of stealing on the porch. This seems to be the new wave of the
Hey, my goddamn door!
Homeowner comes out.
homeowners.
Give it
Yeah.
back. I didn't get nothing. I didn't get nothing. But everything's in front of my goddamn house. Do you hear me? I hear you.
She
Physically imposing.
Yeah, pushes her out.
Yeah.
I like that.
Big mama. Got that fast
Why was she
switch
trying
muscle.
to steal from an envelope?
Well, there
She's
might
trying
be a
to
check.
eat food or something?
I think it's an insane person.
When they interviewed Shira Booker later, she said, and I quote, I was going to go Rice Krispie on her because sometimes you have to snap, crackle, pop.
She had that one loaded.
Choose. Always turning a phrase.
My neighbor, when I just moved into a place in Los Angeles, my neighbor got a lot of packages stolen off of his porch, and he assumed my wife and I, after we moved in, were stealing all his packages, and he was kind of mean towards my wife and I. Turns out he's deaf, and we were able to like text him and be like, "It's not us. If we see a package, we'll take it inside, but we haven't been stealing your stuff." But yeah, he was really angry and kind of very unpleasant for a while there.
Wow.
There's a couple things I always think about. Like, you always thought all the cameras were going to do away with all the activity, but it turns out nutty people, much like pets, just kind of ignore cameras. Like, part of being nuts or super high is you don't really care if the cop's wearing the body cam or the dash cam. Like, you will act as if, even though they're filming you.
You can only incentivize rational people, right? You can only
Yes.
disincentivize
If you think it's a good idea to wrestle with the cop by the side of the road on the hood of his car, that elite fraternity, like that, the guys who live in that rarefied air, will not be affected by the threat of a camera. And then us, we would be, but we would never wrestle with the cop in the first place.
Well, if you beat up a cop, you get his job, right? That's how that works.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a good
I'm pretty
point.
sure it's a little known fact.
That's right.
The more you know.
That
I
makes more
saw
sense.
Chips. I get how it works.
I would at least go for the packages. The woman was going for envelopes.
She looked like she was
There's probably a check
opening the
inside.
envelopes.
That's my guess.
Yeah,
She didn't even
Check
hold it to
forgery.
the light to see how much the check was
Am I
for.
showing my age here? What do you do with the check? Isn't it signed to a different person?
Oh.
I don't know. People only
cute.
PayPal me.
Didn't you ever see Catch Me If You Can? You can do a lot with checks.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. All right, let me tell you quickly about what you can do with Geico. That's right, Geico. You got a to-do list. How about you save hundreds of dollars on your auto insurance? You don't have to go anywhere. Just go to geico.com. 15 minutes. Could be saving 15% or more on your auto insurance. Take that extra money and put it in your pocket. That's 15 minutes. Could be saving 15% or more at geico.com. All right, let's do 1.5 more.
All right. Well, you'll like this, seeing as how we're talking about ladies fighting. MMA fighter Joyce Vieira has been pictured attacking a man after he allegedly exposed himself while she was doing a photo shoot. I think we have a picture of her. Vieira was posing for photos in swimwear when she claims the man performed a sex act on himself watching her do her little photo shoot.
Oh,
Photos posted
really?
on Twitter show Vieira attacking him in a rage, showing off some of her MMA skills. Vieira reported the man to police, and he was arrested for committing an obscene act, although he claims he was simply urinating, but it looks like he was jerking it while she was taking her pictures, and she punched him in the face.
Well, there's gray area because you got to give it a jiggle and a tug, when you're done urinating at the beach.
But how long does that last?
Well, that's
20 minutes.
10, 12 minutes if you're doing it right.
I think my dad told me you shake it more than twice and you're playing with it, right?
There you go.
So
My
The more you
feeling
know.
is until something other than urine comes out of it, I can't judge. But it is funny. She looks good, by the way. She looks fit. The thing that's funny is she's wearing a different bathing suit.
Yeah,
that
those are.
she's
I think
fighting
that's
in?
just a picture of just kind of how she looks in a.
I love how
bikini.
MMA has kind of just leveled the playing field here. We used to be able to just like see a guy who had the bouncer build and avoid him. You know, he's
Right.
trouble. You know,
Right.
nowadays it could be a little
Sneaky.
short guy. It could be
Yeah.
a woman. She's gonna fucking she's gonna wreck that guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
No.
a decent right cross she's hitting him with right there.
And we don't know. Yeah, we don't know if your 135-pound guy's just going to crawl on you like a spider monkey and get you in an arm bar or whatever.
Yeah, you really have to be careful.
In a way, maybe it's good. Maybe it stops people from monkeying around with each other.
So when I was growing up, any fight, it was just everyone would just throw one big overhand right.
Yeah,
Right.
they just
That's
winded
all
really
people knew how
fast.
to do.
Yeah, and you didn't mess with the big guys, and you did mess with the little guys, and that was that. And now everybody, including women, it's sort of like could be carrying a gun. Like it's a version of that guy or that girl could have a concealed weapon on them. Like you can't fuck with people. You don't know what their skill set is.
That woman has turned herself into a deadly weapon.
Yeah, her
That's
fist
right.
might be registered. And look at, I don't know anything about throwing punches, but look at, she's on her tiptoes.
She's throwing a good, strong right cross, and the guy's shorts are tiled out, which means he's probably getting punched while his dick is out.
Not a good sign.
Yeah.
Which is
the lowest day of your
either-
life.
It's not a good sign, or it could be the best sign ever. It just kind of depends how the night's going. Like, it could be really good.
It's a big tile. It's a good sign.
Yeah,
It's a big blackout box.
Definitely want that. And by the way, it's so funny. Like, we hate all violence, but we love this kind of violence.
the
We're like,
best.
oh, that guy pulled his dick out. She decked him. It's like, well, he's got a crushed orbital sign. Look at him. And we laugh and we
him.
laugh. We
Yeah,
love a little revenge. Do we not?
You want to hear about violence? I didn't bother bringing this story in, but you know it's everywhere. The woman who was caught on camera dumping that bag of puppies in the dumpster in Coachella. Have you seen it?
Oh no.
Oh, I wasn't
Wow.
going to bother because I know we have a lot of animal stories, but the
She
the
dumped a bag of puppies
she had
at
like
Coachella?
30 dogs in her house, and it was all just a mess, and it was all crazy, and there was a bag of 7 puppies in this sealed plastic bag, and somebody was rooting through the trash or looking for recyclables and found this bag, took it in, they opened it, and it was 7 like 4-day-old puppies. There she is, she's lovely. You should see the kind of threats that are coming in online to somebody who would dare drop a bag of puppies in a dumpster. You don't think we like violence? You should see some of the things people want to do to this woman.
No, you got to be careful. Anything with animals,
Yeah.
if online gets a hold of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the surveillance footage looks like she just goes back to her Jeep like it was nothing. So
Yeah.
everyone's thinking, oh, she does this all the
Just
time.
dumping trash.
But also, I've learned that if you run back to your Jeep as if you just dumped puppies in a dumpster, you will get taken down by concerned citizens. So you should. I always feel it's like, look at him. He went to that liquor store, he pocketed that 5th of vermouth, and he walked out like nothing was happening. Yeah, if you run serpentine and you do a shoulder roll, you'll draw focus. So yes, you should
People
just
can ask questions.
you should steal the diamond jewelry or whatever and walk out. You have to be casual when you're a criminal, otherwise you'll pull focus.
Right.
So
No
I don't
good diamonds at this jeweler.
I don't blame her for that.
Yeah.
I don't blame her for that.
I have a dumpster puppy. Bill's about to get a dumpster puppy.
Yeah, I'm going to adopt a puppy that was from Mexico that was abandoned as well. So,
So maybe
wasn't this dumpster put
Maybe we should thank this woman. You know, she got us our dogs.
It's a possibility.
Yeah, it's good, but the puppies that are abandoned in Mexico actually lead a better life than domesticated puppies in Mexico. I've done some research. Actually better off just being abandoned. It's a sad testimonial of Mexico.
Here's the
She pulls up in a
security
Jeep,
Soft top.
walks out, got a bag of puppies.
Dun, 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 dun.
Well, she didn't throw it in the
And
recycling.
tosses, just tosses that. It gets air.
The attitude.
Yeah. It's the way she walked back to the
What about
Jeep.
the first dumpster wasn't good enough to throw the puppies
She
in?
did.
We
Well,
just
that
want
was
to make sure they were recycled.
There's already puppies in there.
Yeah.
Oh.
This one's
Full of
lousy with puppies.
All right. Well, the good news is I'm sure she was horribly sexually abused all throughout her childhood. So we don't have to worry about
Everybody wins?
the
Well,
great
okay.
magnet paying her back.
Yeah, what do you say?
So what do you have to have in your heart to throw away a bag of puppies? There's
Skull.
easy to get rid of them. You just post on Facebook. Hey, anyone want puppies? People
You
come pick them
can't,
up.
like something horrific was
Yeah.
done to her by her
If this is an
stepdad
insane
repeatedly.
person. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Traumatized.
Tough stuff.
All right, let's bring it home,
You got
on
it.
a happy puppy note.
They're fine. They're all alive. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news. It has a kick.
Gina.
That was the news with Gina Grad.
Trying to think of like what if you took puppies and instead of throwing them in a dumpster, Maxipata, pumpkin chunkin.
Oh,
The air cannons. The air cannons. Now, the ones, look, the trebuchet guys, the old school guys, they'll chuck those pumpkins, up to like half a mile or something. But the air cannon that are on the back of the flatbeds, those things will shoot the pumpkins like a mile and a half. If you get the right trajectory. And if you put the puppies into that thing and just fired it.
The shelter's full, right? It's
how
promotion.
insane. Like, how over would your life be?
It'd be over quickly. Yeah, at least socially.
So you could kill a homeless person and be in a lot better social standing than the bag of puppies and the air cannon, right?
Yeah.
Oh, with the air cannon?
If
Yes.
there's video evidence of both, yes.
Yeah.
You better pray you kill that homeless person.
Find one of those air cannons.
The air cannon, it shows a little bit of like premeditation, right? Like you're not just
your
throwing the
coordination.
puppy. You got the right size puppy. You got the
you've
right size
hyped it
air
online.
cannon. Yeah, you got a crowd who wants the puppy.
It's a good
You
point.
price shopped other air cannons.
Yeah, you wouldn't stumble upon an air cannon.
Right.
And there's
And a
also,
puppy.
you got to like prime it and turn on the pump and compressor and everything else. Yeah,
What's the
you're
best
right.
lube for the inside of that? You don't know how it's going to react with the fur. It's all these things.
A 10W50 usually is good.
I mean,
with
I
a
don't know.
synthetic multigrade. I mean, or lithium or whatever. Why would I know?
I'll be specific for somebody who's never shot puppies out of an air cannon.
Let's just make sure we're
a
being-
graphite would work nicely
Let's
too.
make
as
sure
well.
we're being honest, though. You guys are you're presented with this theory for the first time. This is not the first time that tossing puppies into some sort of mechanical device has come up on this show. The frozen chickens, the turkeys.
Oh no, that's putting pumpkins in to test the metallurgy on jet engines.
Yeah, but
that was my.
Yeah, but with the caveat that if you want to bring your dog to the airport, fine. But lottery system, your number might come up that dog's going into
If I
that jet
discover
engine.
it's not a legitimate dog, it's going into the air cannon.
Dogs at the airport. I did this story one time about how often dogs fall out of airplanes. It's weirdly frequently.
Out of,
How come that doesn't come up?
Were they in the hold of the plane
okay,
with the landing gear and everything?
So, can I tell a short story?
Yeah.
Okay.
Find that air cannon, Max Pat.
Okay, so my family growing up had this dog. My dad had a little dog that he found walking around the neighborhood. And this family story goes that he has the dog for a little while. It was all like kind of beat up and raggedy. And then eventually they put an ad in the paper for it. And they didn't know who the dog was. But airline officials contacted my grandma and came and said that they had lost the dog. I live close to
Like a
SFO.
DB Cooper of dogs right here.
Yeah, right. So I had this whole family history, and I wanted to dig into it. And I talked to like the National Transportation Board, and I tried to get all the stats on how often dogs fall out of airplanes. And while I was working on the story, one did. There was a rescue organization called Pilot Paws or something like that, or Paws for Pilots, and they were transporting these dogs. And it started raining cats and dogs. Literally, the dogs fell out of the airplane.
That's tough stuff.
Jesus.
All right, Max Pat, find a bigger one, not a miniature one. One that's on the back of a truck. And then I will tell you guys first about Castrol Edge. This works with those air cannons. Stronger under pressure. Engines can lose up to 10% of performance due to friction. Castrol Edge with fluid titanium transforms under pressure to keep those metal parts from rubbing. 3 times.
Three times, fool.
Stronger than leading full synthetic against viscosity breakdown. Edge formula always exceeds the toughest industry standards. It is Castrol Edge. All right, Max Pat, you got a big pickup truck there with the big air cannon on the end of it, firing the things into the skies there. Sorry. So you put the puppies in that bad boy.
Oh, wow.
But this arsenal won't be used to combat enemy raiders or for historic war reenactments.
Oh, I'll dress up like a knight of the round table and I'll put the puppies.
That one does have a puppy on it. Is that what they're doing?
My defense will be I confuse puppy with pumpkin.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, pumpkin.
Somebody said
Joker.
go
It
get a
rhymes,
whole
yeah.
shitload of pumpkins.
A
And
puppy chai latte.
I got mistake. I made a mistake. Yeah, I put
Now I want a Carolla Classics episode of all the intercut of you talking about animals and machinery.
Yeah, we might do a trebuchet style as well. All right. Anyway, you get it. So it's a lively competition.
Yeah, fun.
It's a good competition. Like they're good drinking events. This is
Yeah.
a good drinking event.
I would say so.
All right, let's see. Not Taco Bell material. My stand-up special is available now at Chassis, 2 S's and a Y.com, and Amazon and iTunes as well. Live shows everywhere. Go to AdamCarolla.com and see where I'm doing stand-up. Adam Carolla Goes Racing on Vero TV. You got a new season of me driving super expensive race cars and vintage races. The podcast, Hard Times Podcast, available on Apple. Website, thehardtimes.net for all the articles and more. You can find Matt and Bill there. Thanks, you guys, for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
And come in again. We'll talk a little more punk rock. Sheck coming up with good sports. And let's enjoy Podcast One. Sports show recaps. That's at Podcast One. And download new episodes of... post-show recaps. Post-show recaps. That's what I wanted to say. At Podcast One. Until next time, it's Adam for Matt and Bill and Gina and Bald and Vinny. Say it. Mahala.
I was going to go Rice Krispie on her because sometimes you have to snap, crackle, pop.
Follow the Adam Carolla Show on Twitter at Adam Carolla Show. Follow us on Twitter at Adam Carolla. And stay where you are because Dave Damashek and Adam Carolla are coming up with today's episode of Good Sports right after this. Follow Adam on Twitter at Adam Carolla. Follow the show on Twitter for call-in times and phone topics at Adam Carolla Show. Leave us a voicemail at 888-634-1744. Don't miss the Ace Man at Thunder Valley outside Sacramento this Friday night. Tickets and info for all the live podcast, Mandarin events, books, movies, and more. Go to adamcarolla.com and stay tuned for AP News.